Well, actually, we started playing Philip Glass's String Quartet, his third String Quartet, last year, actually in a concert with Lior. We found it to be a very atmospheric, very sort of soothing piece that audiences really enjoy because of its sort of panoramic quality.
It's an amazing piece of timeless space in a way, almost trance-like minimalism. Incredible piece.
I think there's something incredibly addictive about it. The more I play this particular quartet, the more I actually get engrossed by it. There's nothing quite like his music. We thought it'd be a wonderful breath of fresh air in a way, a wonderful contrast to the other two pieces that we're doing in this program.
He's such a popular contemporary composer, and although you wouldn't necessarily think of quartets when you think of Philip Glass, he has written quite a few.
From operas through to symphonic works, but there's something that's so beautifully pared back and pure about the string quartets. Just four voices, it just brings a level of purity to it.
We've played movements of and excerpts of the piece in its entirety last year, and people kept on coming up to us and saying that was just the most beautiful piece of music I've ever heard in my life.
It gives people a moment in their lives where they can dissociate themselves from everything that's been going on.
People have been saying that I just found myself crying and I didn't know why.
I think a lot of people find Philip Glass to be very moving because it takes them, it transports them, particularly the last movement, the sixth movement. Finally this beautiful melody emerges sort of out of the texture of the music, and it is quite soulful.
I don't think there's a prescribed sort of feeling that you can dictate for it, because it's more about you, I think. We're always trying to champion Australian music, and a very obvious one is Brett Dean.
We've been wanting to play Brett Dean's string quartet, his first string quartet, Eclipse, for a long time. It's, I think, one of the great Australian works of the 21st century.
Brett Dean is a completely different universe to any other composer.
You know, he's Australia's preeminent composer, really. He writes incredible music.
So we decided that it was time, and of course with Brett Dean's new opera Hamlet premiering in the Adelaide Festival in the next month, it just worked out so well. Brett Dean was compelled to write this piece in response to the Tampa refugee crisis of 2001.
It's looking at the world in a way from a refugee's eyes, and I think that would be one of the scariest places to be, actually, being totally homeless, totally, you know, you've probably left your family and everything that you know and understand, and then to come to a new country and not really be welcomed there. That's really expressed in the music.
Eclipse is very much a turbulent, darker work, although there are lighter moments of relief. It can be quite uncomfortable for the listener because the music is demanding so much of not only the players but the listener.
To me, it sounds like the inside of someone's psyche. There's a real raw honesty to it, and he manages to tap into the most vulnerable and the darkest parts of the human soul.
Rehearsing Brett Dean's quartet has really tested the four of us.
You know, it's hard. His music's tricky, and a lot of the time is actually spent by yourself, actually learning the notes.
Because it is so complex rhythmically. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, trying to kind of slot all of these rhythmical pieces together.
It's incredibly gratifying to play. It's like learning another language. It doesn't play itself. I'm used to playing conventional music like Mendelssohn or Brahms or Mozart because I've been trained to learn that my whole life. Brett's part, you just can't sight read it. It's like peeling an onion and dissecting the layers and piecing it together.
You need to crack the code
he writes lots of key words in it, like suddenly transparent or brutal, or it's more about feelings.
You need to figure out what it was that Brett was thinking. Him being a string player, of course, he knows intimately all the instruments and knows what the capabilities are, how far he can push them. It's a really fun challenge to work on them.
Of course, he pushes us to our limits. It's really very challenging music, and I think we are really enjoying that challenge.
The program has 2 works from the 20th century in the first half. In the second half, we go to Mendelssohn, and it's not a reward, though it is a really bright, sunny, joyous piece.
The Mendelssohn Quartet, Opus 44, number 1, is, I would say, his happiest quartet.
A world away from the last 2 places we've been.
To come back after the interval and play this Mendelssohn, it's just like a bottle of champagne exploding all over the concert hall. You can't help but be in a good mood and be elated and energised whilst playing it. It's incredible.
Learning the Mendelssohn is like going home in a way, because it's a language that we all speak very fluently. What I love about learning it is that we all have strong ideas about how it could go. I love the way the movements take you through from something that's fairly busy and invigorating, and then the second movement is such a gorgeous movement in 3 that is sort of lilting. The third movement is my favourite, and then to have that final movement, almost like a tarantella, it sort of has this life and vibrancy.
The middle voices, Steve and I, the 2 of us are doing a lot of kind of accompanimental sound that brings out the effervescence and the bubbliness.
I'm glad I'm not playing Dale's part.
Dale's just kind of doing his thing.
It's like just all about letting go and creating wonderful long lines and enjoying the sonority of the 4 instruments. Very much the first violin in the Mendelssohn is quite virtuosic, so it's my chance to really let loose. I love it.
He plays it fantastically. It is so full on. It's great.